So what I'm doing here is I'm setting my boat in deep water and I'm casting up on the shallow side of this point. So I'll make as long of a cast as I can. I'm gonna let that Trophy Bass Company jig go to the bottom. Once it's on the bottom, I'll start to work it back to the boat. And I'm working it with, short little hops like that. You can drag this jig, you can fish it shallow around cover, you can work it slow through brush piles. Right now we got some scattered brush. Ooh, man, they're hitting it funny. Some scattered brush, some rock out here, and it's just a big long point. And they seem to want that bait hopping up off the bottom. I've missed a couple. You really got to be on your toes, when you're hopping that jig high off the bottom, because a lot of times, you'll hop it 3 or 4 feet up, and those fish will get it on the fall. So you got a little bit of slack in your line, so you got to be paying attention so you can set the hook when they get it. Man, they're just popping that thing. They're just not very active yet. But the key is to get the bait out there and get it on the bottom, whether you're fishing it, up shallow or out deep. You want to get that jig on the bottom and work it through whatever cover is there. So now I feel that my jig's kind of on that rocky bottom. I'm going to start working it back with these high hops. So I like to give it a little 1-2, pull that bait 4 or 5 feet off the bottom, let it settle back down, and then I'll give it another hop. It seems like they're hitting it on the hop today. There he was. Another decent fish. All right, another keeper. You see how they get that Pro Jig? That 5/0 Gamakatsu hook has the right angle on it. It's the right hook for this bait, and it gets them every time right in the roof of the mouth. That's another nice keeper. Throw it out there. But you just really got to experiment on kind of what's working. I was out here on this point. We were dragging around, not getting very many bites, and I started hopping that jig high off the bottom and started catching a few. And I'm missing one for every one that I catch. So that last keeper I caught, I actually, he bit one time beforehand. I popped it again and he came back and got it. So, you gotta kind of play around with techniques and play around with presentation and how you bring that jig back to the boat, because some days that makes a big difference. If you notice a fish, biting the bait as you're swimming it back to the boat, a lot of times that's a good indication to, either use that same jig and swim it, or pick up the swim jig. Trophy Bass Company, we make a swim jig here, and there's another one. Popped it right off that piece of cover. That one's a little better there. Oh, yeah. Look how every one of them's got that thing. All the way down in their throat. But be sure to go get you some of these Trophy Bass Company jigs, this Pro Jig. You can fish it anywhere, anytime, and catch fish like this. It's an awesome jig. Got a great hook. It's got an awesome head design where it goes through cover, and as you can see, it hooks them. So be sure to check out the Trophy Bass Company product line.